a lot of you guys have asked me for Queensland Matrix Opal, so I've secured a whole bunch of it, and I'm going to be putting it up in the store in all kinds of different ways. Stabilized, I'm going to have a bunch of cut material, going to have a bunch of rough material. Before I go ahead and describe this deal, if you're watching on my Opal's Facebook or Opal's YouTube channel, please do me a favor and go ahead and hit that like button. And if you'd like to get updates whenever I'm running special activities like this, go ahead and subscribe, especially on YouTube, so that you get the notifications. If you're on Opal auctions and you're seeing this video, I don't have a great way of or a great space to share this kind of information, so I'm going to give you my link tree down below, and for computer users up here on the corner, so that you can go to my link tree and from there make it to my Facebook channel Opals or my YouTube channel Opals. And if you subscribe there, you can keep up to date with any of these special activities that I run on Opal auctions, but I don't really have a way to tell everybody what I'm doing from that platform. I'm just going to slab it out for you guys, and I'm going to list it, and I'm going to put videos and pictures there. You can look at them. I want it to be fun for you, and it's fun. You know, the reason I got into stuff like this is because as soon as I got my hand on some material that was complete gamble material, I lost a lot. But then I won some, and the ones that I won were just incredible. In the process of finding something that looks like a rock, and you pay $30 for it, and then it turns into a $1,000 stone that you get set. It's a really great process. And I just gotta say, like, I don't know if this makes sense doing this, because generally if I've tried to do this with Andamuka Opal, the amount that I get in my auctions isn't even enough to cover the field price that I pay for this stuff. But it's so much fun that I want you guys at least to have the opportunity to do it once. And whether or not I can do this again in the future is going to depend almost wholly on the prices that you guys want to pay for this at auction. I'm going to put all this stuff up on no reserve, most all of it up on no reserve, so you guys really decide whether or not I continue to do this, or this is just kind of a one-off. It's up to you, but I'm going to do it. We're going to see how we go. Alright, so you guys that haven't worked with this, once you have it cut into, your cabochon, it'll come to you in smaller pieces, like these. Once you have it cut, put your template on there, cut it into your cabochon. Once you have it cut into a cabochon, you're going to want to treat it, right? So it's treated almost exactly like two different ways. One of them is a sugar method, and you do it almost exactly like Andamuka Matrix. The thing is this material is not particularly heat sensitive like Andamuka Matrix is. So you keep it in a 50-50 sugar water bath that's been heated up, almost to the point where it's boiling. Turn it off, leave it in there overnight, let it soak. In the morning, you wrap it up with foil, and then you can put it in your oven and turn your oven on the highest setting and leave it in there for, a couple hours, right? In a couple hours, the treatment will be done. Andamuka Matrix, you kind of have to step it up and very slowly heat it so that the water releases from the opal. With Queensland Matrix Opal, you don't have to do that. You just crank it all the way up. There are other ways to do it. This opal, because it's not heat sensitive, can take really high temperatures. So a lot of people I know will do it in a kiln, or they will soak it in vegetable oil and then wrap it in foil and do it in a kiln, or probably more common is they'll set it on the side of a fireplace or put it on hot coals while it's wrapped up in the foil on hot coals. I've seen it done in a chimenea. I've seen it done kiln, chimney, barbecue pit is the other one. So it's really common just to see people wrap them up in foil after they're in oil or sugar, the sugar water treatment. Wrap them up in foil and put them on the barbecue pit for half an hour. Barbecue pits will get really hot. The thing is that ovens will not get hot enough to carbonize the oil, right? And so if you're going to use your oven, you have to use sugar. If you're going to use a barbecue pit or a kiln, I don't really suggest a kiln, because oil and kiln, I don't know about that. But I do know people that do it in a kiln. I suggest that if you're going to use the oil, you use it, in something that's outside, your barbecue pit. It's good to do it outside anyway, because it does, at around 205 degrees centigrade, it does get pretty stinky whenever the sugar is carbonizing. Oil gets a bit stinky, a little bit hotter than that, around 400, I think. Now, a couple of last notes here. Once you're finished with your cabochon, this material, you only take up to 3,000 or higher grits on your novas, but you do not use cerium. Cerium oxide will get caught in the pores floors, and it really doesn't work on this. Cerium is specifically for using high content silica material. This is matrix opal, which has the amorphous silica combined with other material like a sandstone. So cerium oxide is not your go-to in this. Some people like it rough so that they just use it, you know, in its natural form, and you can see the color, and that's great. Other people like to put a coating on it that makes it more glassy. You see a lot of the material that we sell in the shop here that's been resin coated. So, you know, we just use a 2-part resin like the epoxy 330 that I carry in the shop. You just need to make sure it's a resin that cures really hard like epoxy 330. Or I've used a top coat nail polish, which also kind of works pretty well. There's a bunch of different ways that people do this. Liquid glass is another thing that I've seen used. You just need to make sure it's something that is hard and it doesn't yellow over time, right? Usually you coat it with the epoxy. Starbond thinned also works really well, and then you put it on like a Ziploc bag to dry. Once it's dried after a few days, you can come back and clean up the edges around it, and call it good from that point.